Welcome to my channel. So today's video has to do with usage of compost, and I've taken my compost pile, which was down there, and I've disseminated it and broken it down, and I've placed a fine layer of compost here, which is going to get buried by the gophers, and I put a deeper layer of compost here in this bed, which drains down into another compost bed. This is mostly organic leaf material from the oak tree above it, and these will transfer water nutrient into the next bed down, and then to the next bed down, and into these swale sets that are below it. Water running off these stairs comes down here, and it runs into a little trench right here, and it will eventually disseminate all the way down through the yard. So I've cleaned up my pile, and I'll remake a pile when it's appropriate, but I've disseminated the pile over some of my garden zones to spread out the compost. And then I've also spread out the compost into this garden bed, and this is going to be a garden bed / fire break / permaculture swale / what do you want to call it. And that's all the compost that I had, so I put it there as a topper to all the sticks that are in the bed. Gophers have been hard at work punching holes in my beds. Not a big deal. Where I need to compost on a plant, there's also hardware cloth or gopher protection for these tomatoes, and they've gotten a little extra compost. And then out here in the larger, broader landscape, where I have a specialized plant like this tomato plant, I put compost in it, and there's more of the compost there. And on this plant, this tomato plant. And we're doing a chop and drop right now, even though it's not the right season for chop and drop technically. It's coming up on fire season, so we're taking all our tall grass-like material and we're slowly layering it down onto the ground. This is flax, and we're going to be removing the flax once it goes to seed appropriately and laying it down as a mulch. And here's the compost that I used around this little corner. And this compost will leach down through the field all the way down into that zone. And up here on the highest point of the property, I also put some compost as a demonstration of compost location. So these calendulas and things will get more nutrient, but it'll seep down through this garden bed, and it'll get to this lemon tree / rosemary, and this jasmine / mint, and that mulberry, as well as this goji berry down here. And this goji berry got some compost, the mulberry got some compost, and this grape got some compost. So everything that I wanted target compost to got target compost, with a few exceptions. And there's your garden update. We're coming up on summer, so all our ice plant is going to take over our zones, our edges, and start working its way down through the system. It's a top-down system, so we start at the top and we work our plants down the hill, so that way we have to do less work. And over time, the ice plant will create a ground cover, along with some other plants that we're installing. And these lavenders are popping up and popping out and showing off now. You can see there's a nice plant right there, and there's some baby sunrose right there, and we want the baby sunrose to take off down the hill. And then there's a blueberry bush. It's hard to see, but there's a blueberry bush and a lemon tree. The lemon tree is being protected from the deer. Deer think lemon leaves are tasty, so I'm trying to slow their nom-nomming. The gophers are still an issue, but they're a lower priority right now. Once we get this to a state where we can drop all the flax and really create our summer conditions, then I'll think about going through and trenching and putting in hardware cloth to reduce the gopher penetrations into the yard. I've already put hardware cloth all along this edge, and in an L where that berm is, I've got hardware cloth going out, and then it crosses over the path and it goes all the way over to that corner, and then on the other side of the path I have hardware cloth in a U around that garden bed. So it is definitely helpful to put hardware cloth that's 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch 2 feet down into the ground. Definitely helpful. It definitely reduces the gopher pressure without killing anything. We're going through the miner's lettuce that's dying back finally. And then in here, this little depression, we have our fig tree, and the fig tree has a watering system. There's an OLA, or OLLA, however you want to pronounce that. And then there's tomato plants, potato plants, nasturtium. There's radishes, more tomatoes, more radishes, more tomatoes, more potatoes, more potatoes, more tomatoes. And this is watering a pretty good circumference or diameter area, or whatever you want to call it. Diameter, I guess, is the right word. And I filled this yesterday, and it's about half full still. So it's putting out water more than I anticipated, weeping out water more than I anticipated, but that's okay. The slugs really love this thing. Now, you know, a lot of people think the slugs are a major issue and a problem in a garden, and this is giving slugs all the water they can possibly withstand. And I'm not seeing a lot of slug damage, even though there's probably thousands of slugs here. You know, this is slug damage. That's it. That's what they're doing. They're eating and eating and eating a little bit here and there. They're not destroying everything. So I don't see any reason to use poisons or bait traps to stop the slugs right now. Slugs are good for breaking down organic material that we don't want. So, you know, they have a purpose and a use. Anyways, so there's your garden update for this permaculture plot in Pacific Grove, California. And here's another tomato. That's an heirloom tomato. Some kind of chicory tomato. Cherokee, I don't know. They call it different names. Probably a dark purple color. I don't know if I don't know the reason for the naming of the plant. Anyhow, so here's some really pretty flowers. These are rock rose. Rock rose is right next to a grape. The grape is going to trellis up on this fence and take over the fence. And we're going to have a beautiful little yard. Have a great day.